What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 2 of Tribe Talk. I am joined today by a good friend and triber, Rachael Sims. One really interesting fact about Rachael is we think she's an incredible lady. You kind of do it all. You're a nurse practitioner, you're a mom, wife, friend, gym goer. I'm sure you wear a lot of other hats. And so you've had some incredible progress in general, but especially in the last, I would say, 8 to 10 weeks. You've dropped 4% body fat in 7 weeks. So good job.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, are you excited about that?
I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah.
So kind of the point of bringing you on today is I think that a lot of people can have misconceptions about, who we are as a gym, what we do, what we value. I think especially for women, there can be a lot of misconceptions about weightlifting or fitness in general. And because I knew you prior to Iron Tribe, I know that you've walked through a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so I thought you coming on to share your progress, to share kind of your journey in fitness, and just journey as mom, wife, professional, balancing all that. I think it could be very valuable for a lot of people. Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds
So starting off, what is your fitness background, or what was your fitness background prior to Iron Tribe?
So when I initially started working out, which was after I was graduated from nursing school, we did group classes at Spectrum.
Okay.
And then we left there and went to Orange Theory.
Yeah, that's where we met.
Yes. And then
Had the Brittany mic, and
Yes,
it was a good time.
we did not lift heavy.
That's true.
And then after Orange Theory, I came here
Yep.
3 years ago.
Yeah, almost to the day. Tomorrow makes 3 years.
Oh, really?
For Perkins.
Yeah.
I'm very
Well, no,
excited.
the soft opening was actually April 4th.
The 4th, yeah.
That was my birthday.
You remembered? Oh, no way. Okay, so funny story. It was last Friday, and I was in the middle of trying to get a lot of stuff done, and I sat there, and I just so happened to look at the date on the screen in there, and I was like, today's 3 years.
Yes.
And I was like, we made it,
Yes,
And so, you've been here
thriving.
every step of the way.
Yeah.
So I guess if I'm hearing you rightly, you did group classes that were mostly cardio.
Yes.
There were some weights or resistance training,
Yeah.
but not the bulk of it.
Nothing heavy.
Yeah, so one of the next questions was, what was that working? What were your goals then? And were those types of fitness helping you hit your goals?
I didn't really have goals. I mean,
Okay.
I guess I just wanted to look better and feel better, but there wasn't individualized attention.
Okay.
Even though you had coaches, it was like, here you have goals, your coaches help you hit goals, they push you to lift heavier and do stuff like that, but the other classes weren't like that.
Okay. Oh, here meaning Iron Tribe.
Yeah, at
Okay,
Iron Tribe.
gotcha. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
good. Okay, I'm glad. That is the goal.
Yeah.
So what made you join Iron Tribe? So 3 years ago, because for context, when you first came around, the building wasn't even.
No, so I actually joined at
Open.
Mid-City.
Okay.
So prior, I had friends
That's
that were
right.
members at Mid-City, but I was always intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
And then my coworker was coming, and she convinced me to come because she looked great and loved it. And so I
Who was
started
that?
going. Dr. Grzaffi, Emily Grzaffi.
Okay, Emily, yeah.
Yeah. So I started going to 5 a.m. at Mid-City in January.
That's right.
I had
okay.
a 7-month-old.
Yeah, because
Oh,
if
and I
remember,
ran into you running.
That's right, in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Well, old neighborhood.
Yes.
My neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you convinced me to come try it.
Good.
So I joined in
I'm glad.
January, stayed there from January to April. And
Okay,
I've been here
so
since.
I think you, as far as probably, it might be safe to say, compared to most women in Baton Rouge, had the normal apprehensions about joining a gym called
Yes.
Iron Tribe.
Yes.
What were those? Because I'm not a woman.
Yes.
So when I think of certain places, there's probably things I'm not intimidated by or not
Yeah.
thoughtful towards. So what were you scared of?
I guess I
about
was
Iron
intimidated
Tribe?
by the barbell, the
Mhm.
heavy lifting, the bar,
Mhm.
thinking I couldn't do it.
Okay.
And I guess just being intimidated just in general. I had done group classes before, I don't know, but it just seemed
Yeah.
I don't know. From the outside
This
looking
seemed
in,
very
it seemed
different.
scary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, talk about then you came.
I came and I love it.
Okay, so
And
what was your first day like? Because I think that's also something I can.
I think we did the little intro class. It
You
was
did
all
101.
beginners.
Yep.
Yeah. And at night, and we had Daniel and Sandy.
Oh,
who were awesome.
It's a great combo.
And so it was probably for someone that had worked out before, some of the stuff was seemed
Easy.
easy.
Yeah.
But it really helped like get the foundation for like barbell work and stuff like that.
Good.
So it wasn't as intimidating going in when everyone else with you was new.
Right.
I guess it was the most intimidating factor was like going to that first class with people who had been here for 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 years.
Okay, so your first class, you walk in, and what were you thinking? What were you feeling to start?
Nervous, anxious, like apprehensive that everyone was going to be staring at me like I didn't know what I was doing, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like that at all. Like
Yeah, so
everyone
talk
is
about what it was
so
like. That's awesome.
welcoming, like the best community. Everyone here is like rooting for you. They want you to lift heavier. They want you to hit your goals. Everyone is so kind.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for.
I mean, it really
you know?
is.
So what has made you stay? You know, like you've done a few different things, but I think for anyone to stay at a gym for 3 years
Yeah.
is impressive. So what has been the thing that has kept you at Iron Tribe the
I'd
last
say
3 years?
the community, like which includes the coaches and staff, and
Oh, thanks. I
and-
made it in there. They remind me I'm not a coach every day.
Well, you sometimes coach.
Thank you.
And my results, like how I feel.
Mm-hmm. So maybe talk to some of those results, because we mentioned 4% body fat. A lot of people don't have a context for that kind of change, but you know, like 4% body fat is a very noticeable change.
Yeah.
I actually found, I'll try to put it up on here, but I found a picture of you on the first 5 a.m. workout. And you 4% body fat isn't like you lost a person off of your body,
Yeah.
but you can very much so tell a difference.
For sure.
So what are the results that you have been most thankful for that have kept you around?
Well, feeling strong. I mean, I'm oftentimes carrying like a 25-pound baby on this hip and a 40-pound baby on this hip.
Yeah, that's
and
a lot.
I can do that.
That's awesome.
And I feel healthy. I tell everyone like I come in the morning, not only just for like my physical health, but my mental health. Like if I miss my workout, everyone can tell.
Really?
And they're like, you need to go work out at lunch. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So maybe talk to, I don't know where I'm at on this list, to be transparent. I think this is a good question. What has been different here than what you tried before? I know you've kind of alluded to that in some of your answers,
Yeah.
but if someone were to say, you know, Rachael, what makes Iron Tribe different than some of the other things you had previously done?
Well, honestly, the community. I feel like these people are my friends. I mean, I don't even have to use quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what I mean?
I like them.
And honestly, I do feel like I'm in the best shape that I've been in ever
That's
from
awesome.
doing all the other things I've tried.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just like I'm more disciplined.
I don't know. You were pretty disciplined, and I'm only not using names because I don't want to sound like I'm bad mouthing. But
Yeah.
whenever I knew you as a coach prior to here, I mean,
I still consistently went.
yeah, I mean at 5 a.m. like very
Yeah.
early, I would see the same
Yeah.
group of all of y'all.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine there's been a difference in what you're doing.
I like tell everybody, like for me, I feel like it's the barbell work, the heavy lifting. I'm not going to go to the gym by myself and
Oh
squat
my gosh, no.
125 pounds. Like
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it.
Especially not in 15 minutes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But and I might, but if I have Dane or Daniel yelling at me, like not yelling, but
Yeah,
you know,
encouraging.
go deeper,
Yes.
lift heavier.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going to make me do it.
Yeah, and
know?
and then having other people in the room doing the same thing is nice.
Right.
You know, because if I go
Yeah.
to a regular gym, like we had to go visit my wife's family, and I just went to like a regular gym.
Yeah.
And man, I'm dying in the corner doing tempo front squats and another movement, and everyone in there is just really on their phone.
Yeah.
You know, so it
Right.
felt very easy to want to quit or
Yeah.
feel silly. So that's great. I'm glad that we strive. That I would like to say that our differentiator is the people on staff and not on staff.
Agreed.
You know, like I think we have a lot of phantom staff.
Yes.
You know, like all of the members
Yes.
are that. So getting into, because I think an interesting thing you said is you have been here 3 years, but the stat that I mentioned about the 4% body fat change is in the last 8 weeks. So what are some of the things that, because it's not like you didn't see progress from day one to
Yeah.
8 weeks
Well,
ago.
I mean, to be fully transparent, when I started 3 years ago, I'd had a 6-month-old baby.
Right.
And then
And I remember we were doing the challenge
Yes.
and we were trying to figure out your meal plan
Yes, 'cause I
while
was
nursing.
nursing.
Because we wanted to be mindful that,
Yes.
Yeah.
And then then I've had another baby since then.
yeah,
And so I've since,
yeah.
I worked out pregnant,
Mhm.
like up until 2 weeks before I delivered because my doctor made me stop because I had
Mm-hmm.
preeclampsia. And then I just stopped nursing like in February.
Okay.
So I feel like I've been able to like dial in more on my nutrition.
Yeah.
And my body just hoards on to all the extra goodness until I'm completely done. So
Yeah.
I think that has a lot of factor into the 4%.
Which is great though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I appreciate you being transparent because I would imagine that I think social media can be a cruel place. It can be a helpful place, but it can be a very cruel place, especially for women. What like are you thankful you did things the way they did, even though it feels vain to say this, but like it kept extra fat on your body?
Oh yeah,
But
no,
like,
no. I mean, like I
you
knew,
wouldn't do
I
it
knew,
over,
like
or wouldn't
before I got
undo
pregnant with Marjorie, like I felt good. I was in a good place, like with my, in body, and like I knew that I would eventually be able to get back there. It's just going to take work.
Yeah.
So like, no, I would not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stop nursing before to like be
leaner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great, and I think that's helpful
I'm
though.
gonna have the rest of my life to work on that.
Yeah.
And this is only like a little phase.
Yeah, and it's a worthy sacrifice.
Yes.
So I think that's great.
Yeah.
I just think that's probably helpful for women to hear because I know in the throes of it, it can probably be easy to not like how you look
Well,
or
for sure,
feel
it's
like
discouraging.
you're.
You come every day, like you're trying to eat right, and you're not seeing the scale move, or your in-body's like going in the wrong direction.
But I think it's good for women to know because not all women have access to an in-body.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, that is a unique season. Like if you're able to nurse and do those things, like do it. And don't have the unrealistic expectation that, or realize rather that that's probably causing some roadblocks with your body composition.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It's fine.
Because when it's done, you
never have to go back.
Yeah, you can kind of pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
How would you say fitness? I don't know if this is I hope this question makes sense. Like, how do you balance all of that, and what has kept you making fitness a priority? Because we have 4 kids. I know my wife's life and schedule. I know my life and schedule. It can be very easy to let it go. So why do you keep fighting for it, and how do you work it in and balance it?
Because I feel like I am a better mom, wife, friend, provider, person when I'm routinely working out. And I want to be healthy for my kids and my grandkids. Like I know, like you can't be the best person to other people if you're not the best version of yourself.
Yeah, and so for you, coming to Iron Tribe classes 3 to 5 days a week is impacting all of those other areas. Would you say that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it makes me feel like mentally, it makes me feel better. Like, so do I enjoy waking up at 4:30 every day? Like, no. But like, I'm gonna have to wake up at 6 anyway. So I'd rather come here and do the workout. I feel great after, and then it gives me a good start to my day. To I don't know.
Yeah, be a blessing to other people.
Yes. Yeah. That.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so you've given, I think, a lot of helpful thoughts, some practical advice of just, hey, if I don't prioritize this, it impacts other parts of my life negatively. And if I do prioritize it, it's a blessing to other parts of my life, which is a great thing.
Well, if you think about it, it's 45 minutes. I mean, an hour by the time you drive, but it's like a blip in your day. So like everyone has an hour.
Yeah. Even if it's just because you come regularly, sorry, 5 days a week. But I mean, I think even if someone just came 3 days a week, you can still see great results.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of, no matter how busy you are, when you think about, do I have 3 45-minute windows in a week? I would imagine most of us do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what would you say to the mom who is just in the thick of it right now?
I just say ask for help. Like, use a grandparent, a neighbor, a friend, your husband, spouse, significant other, and take that time for yourself because like your mental health and your well-being is so important.
Yeah.
And so although it feels daunting to like leave your kids and whatever all your to-do list, like at the end of the day, you're going to be a better person for taking that time for yourself.
So leaving these things is the last thing you should be doing because it's a
Well,
huge
you have
to-do
mom
list.
guilt.
Or
I mean, you feel guilty, so you feel like you can't take time for yourself.
no,
You feel
explain this because I don't
selfish.
have mom guilt.
Oh.
So no. I think but that's what I'm getting at is like I watch my wife who is such a servant and she's amazing, and there's times where I'm like, do you just want to like go on a walk? And I can see it in her face. It's like, well, I have to do this. I got to do that, and I'm like, yeah, but if you don't live past tomorrow, like we won't.
Right.
You know, and not that my wife is floundering or anything, but
Yeah.
just I think maybe talk about that because I think there's probably a lot of women.
Well, it's hard. I mean, the day-to-day, your to-do list of just day-to-day, like, you know, housework, laundry, grocery shopping, cooking, on top of like taking care of the kids and being present with the kids. You feel guilty, like taking time away from all that. Like you shouldn't prioritize. Like you moms basically put themselves at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, it's not going to make you a better person or a better mom. Like you're going to end up suffering in the long run. So,
And then the people you're trying to care for
yeah.
are not going to get much care because
Right.
you end up depleted.
And what's awesome about here is I don't want to say this, you can bring your kids.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, they can sit in the corner.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because they,
Yeah.
like in the morning when I get home at like 6:15, they'll be awake and they'll be like, did you just go to work, work out? And I'm like, yeah. And they like ask me about it and they love it. And I think it's setting a good example, prioritizing health and fitness from a young age.
Yeah. No, that's great. Well, no, I'm glad you said that because I would definitely, it feels so counterintuitive. It's one of the things that Knox on the last one mentioned. He said, I wanted to be present for my kids, so I started working out at the gym. And I'm like, that sounds so counterintuitive of like, I want to be present, so I'm going to do something away.
Right.
And he said a similar thing. He's like, no, if I can just feel better, I think the time, even though I'm taking, 3 to 5 hours away from my people, I'm able to perform so much better the hours that I am present.
Well, and I feel like people that aren't doing it currently, like, don't see that. And so to get back into a routine or start a routine that if you've never started, like once you get over that hump of like getting here physically and then do it for a couple of weeks, then you realize like what you were missing and you'll figure out a way to prioritize it and fit it into your life.
No, that's great. Yeah, what would you say to that person, like the hardest part about doing Iron Tribe is what?
It's getting here. The hardest part is getting here.
And then after that,
once you're here, once you're here, it's great.
No, I'm glad. That's what we used to joke about that in consults. We're like, if you can just show up, you'll be fine. That's like the hardest decision you have to make is to show up.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who was in your shoes about, well, I don't want to come in and look stupid, feel stupid. I've never lifted weights. What would you say to that?
Everyone is so nice and helpful. Really, like, the workouts are so condensed and intense might not be a good word, but like no one's like paying attention. Well, I'm just saying like no one's like in the corner like, oh my God, did you see her deadlift? Like no one's doing that.
No, yeah.
You know what
They're
I mean?
all focused on what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everyone is so helpful and kind, and the coaches are great. Like, it is definitely intimidating, but then once you start coming regularly,
it wears off.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, what is some of the biggest accomplishments you've had at Iron Tribe? Or have there ever been, is there like a wow moment? Like, wow, I can't believe that happened.
Well, like lately it's like, wow, I can't believe I deadlifted 200 pounds. Or,
really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Or like, I can do a pull-up. When before I was using like, I don't know, 4 bands in a box.
Yeah,
and
in a buddy.
Yeah.
Like picking your feet up.
Yeah. So stuff like that. Like I'm type A, obviously, and OCD, so I keep a like running list on my phone of like what all my weights are, so
really?
I can see.
That's awesome.
So I can like refer back and see what I did before and try to like beat those.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've seen some really cool body composition change, but you've also seen change just in strength, conditioning, fitness.
Well, like where I used to do, like orange, and I moved up to blue.
Yeah.
Right now the colors are a little iffy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, we have, just so when you come in, it's not like, where do I start? We actually have color categories for people. So you can start at one color and you do all the workouts until you finish that color. And then once you can finish all the workouts at that color, you kind of graduate. I say it's kind of like belts in karate. It's like you start as a white belt and work your way up. Yeah. Man, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we talked about how you juggled it all. I appreciate you sharing that. And I think one of the takeaways, if I'm hearing you rightly, is it's just worth it. Like, because even the thought, I think what falls on moms a lot is, yeah, but if I want to prioritize that, like I have to find a sitter or
Right.
ask for help or.
Well, and I feel like, I mean, for my instance, coming at 5 a.m., like it doesn't actually really impact anyone in my household because everyone's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can come in the morning, and I know that's not feasible for everyone, and everyone's not a morning person, but
Mm-hmm.
like find, like, you know, if your kids go to school or go to daycare, like come to the 11:15 class while they're at school, so it doesn't actually impact them,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote.
Yeah, no, I think that's really helpful. So we're going to do a lightning round of questions,
Oh
okay?
gosh, okay.
All right. So, number one, what's your go-to hype song before a workout?
Oh gosh, it's just the 2000s hip hop radio
Okay.
station.
Sue's mentioned you may listen to a country song on the ride
I
to
did,
workouts
but
often.
I couldn't think of the name of it. But it's a
Okay.
mashup. I can't think of what it is.
Gotcha. But
it
the
is.
2000s era is
Yeah.
your go-to.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you're on the. You might want to explain your drive because I think you have 17 tumblers and some
I do.
music playing.
I have a tumbler with my LMNT in it. I have my
Yep.
pre-workout. Sometimes I have a coffee. Yeah.
Yep.
And
then
my
you're
music's really loud.
Jamming 2000s.
And I have to do a little dance before I get here.
Okay.
Just to hype myself up.
Okay. Favorite movement in the gym?
Favorite movement in the gym? A hang clean.
Okay. Movement you hate the most, but you still do it.
Front squat.
Front squat. Okay.
Mhm.
Coffee order.
Well, I don't order coffee.
Okay.
But at home, I'd use an espresso.
Okay.
And I'm always looking for a fasting-friendly coffee creamer.
Okay. You fast.
Well, yes, I
Okay.
used to. I
Okay.
used to.
Still?
I just recently stopped, like in the last probably like 8 weeks.
What made you stop?
I wanted to try a pre-workout
Okay.
instead,
Okay.
and it wasn't fasting-friendly.
If you had 1 hour of time to yourself, what would you go do?
Play tennis.
Really?
Yeah.
Singles, doubles?
Either.
Okay. Just go play.
Just go play.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. If someone listening is on the fence about Iron Tribe, what would you say to them?
Do it. Do it. Just try it. I mean, what do you have to lose? If you don't like it, then you don't have to come back.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what does Tribe mean to you now?
It's like, I mean, like family. You know, I feel like this is like a part of my everyday life and routine, and I'd be sad if I couldn't come and see
We'd
my
be
peeps.
sad if you couldn't
Yeah.
come too. Yeah. No, that's sweet. Thank you. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
Really
me.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
It really has been cool to see your consistency. You make a lot of sacrifices to take care of yourself so you can take care of other people. I think that's really admirable.
Thank you.
And thanks just for being a really kind member of the tribe. I feel like
Thank
when new
you.
people come in, you welcome them, and we're very thankful to have that. So do you have any last thoughts, words for any mom out there listening?
Just take some time for yourself and come try it, because I don't think you'll regret it.
Awesome.
So,
Hey, thanks for taking the time to come on.
Awesome.
And I will hopefully see you at 5 a.m. next week.
yeah.
Cool?
Yep.
All right, we'll look
Thank
at that
you.
and say bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.